A compliment can feel good for a few minutes. A like, reply, approval, or nod can calm a worry almost instantly. But when someone needs validation again and again to feel okay, the question is no longer only, do people approve? It becomes, why does my self-worth keep leaving my own hands? Validation means receiving a signal that your feelings, identity, choices, or value are seen as real or acceptable. People need validation because humans are social. We learn who we are partly through other people's responses. Healthy validation helps people feel understood. A child who hears, "That was scary," learns their fear makes sense. A worker who hears, "Good job," learns effort was noticed. A partner who hears, "I understand why that hurt," feels less alone. The problem begins when validation becomes the main source of self-worth. Then silence feels like rejection. A delayed reply feels like proof of being unwanted. A post with fewer likes feels like evidence that the person is less interesting. The phone example matters because the feedback is fast, measurable, and public. A person can watch approval rise or fail to rise in real time, which makes the nervous system treat the screen like a social judge. One reason people seek validation is uncertainty. If someone is unsure whether they are attractive, talented, lovable, or successful, outside approval becomes a quick answer. The answer helps, but it may not last because the deeper uncertainty remains. The quick answer is addictive because it works for a moment. A compliment can reduce anxiety instantly, but the relief fades if the person has not built a stable inner answer. Another reason is early emotional learning. If love, attention, or praise came mostly after achievement, helpfulness, beauty, obedience, or performance, the person may learn to chase approval as proof of safety. This early learning can follow people into adulthood long after the original environment is gone. The adult may no longer be a child seeking praise, but the body still remembers approval as safety. Social media can intensify the pattern because it gives numbers to approval. Likes, comments, shares, views, and followers turn attention into a scoreboard. A human need becomes a public metric, and the metric can start shaping behavior. Numbers make the pattern sticky. A kind comment from one real person may matter less than a missing reaction from a crowd, because the platform trains the mind to look for volume. Validation seeking can look like over-explaining. Someone may send long messages to prove they are not wrong, selfish, lazy, or unlovable. The real need is not more words, it is relief from the fear of being judged badly. It can also look like people-pleasing. A person says yes when they want to say no because approval feels safer than honesty. They may avoid conflict, hide preferences, and become resentful when others never see their real needs. People-pleasing can win approval while hiding the real person. Over time, the person may be liked for a version of themselves that is agreeable but incomplete. Validation is not the same as attention. Attention only means people are looking. Validation means the person feels recognized in a meaningful way. Someone can receive attention and still feel unseen if the attention does not touch the real need. One mistake is shaming the need for validation. Humans are not built to be completely self-contained. Wanting encouragement, appreciation, or understanding is normal. The issue is whether outside approval supports the self or replaces it. Another mistake is thinking confidence means never needing reassurance. Even confident people need feedback. The difference is that they can hear silence, criticism, or disagreement without losing their whole sense of worth. That steadiness is what makes confidence different from constant approval. Confidence does not mean never caring. It means disagreement does not instantly erase the person's inner ground. A useful sign of unhealthy validation seeking is emotional whiplash. If one compliment makes the day feel amazing and one ignored message ruins the day, outside signals may be carrying too much power. The repair starts by naming the exact validation being sought. Is the person looking for proof they are attractive, important, safe, chosen, competent, good? The clearer the need, the less likely it is to be chased blindly. Naming the exact need can change the behavior. Someone who wants proof they are chosen may not need another public post. They may need one honest conversation with the person whose attention actually matters. The next step is building internal evidence. Instead of asking, "Do they think I am capable?" collect evidence of kept promises, learned skills, honest effort, and handled challenges. Internal evidence makes outside feedback useful but not controlling. Boundaries also help. If someone constantly checks messages, likes, or reactions, they may need limits around the behavior. The goal is not to pretend approval does not matter. The goal is to stop checking approval as if it is oxygen. Healthy relationships can support this process. A trusted friend or partner can validate feelings without becoming the only source of stability. Good validation says, "Your feeling makes sense," not, "You must rely on me to know you are okay." This is the difference between support and dependence. Support steadies the person while they hold their own worth. Dependence asks another person or audience to hold the entire weight. Self-validation can sound simple but feel awkward at first. It may begin with sentences like, "That hurt, I tried, I am allowed to want this," or, "I can be imperfect and still have value." These are not magic words, they are practice. Validation seeking becomes less powerful when the person can pause before chasing the signal. Before posting, texting, explaining, or asking again, they can ask, "What am I hoping this proves?" That question reveals the need underneath the behavior. The goal is not to stop caring what anyone thinks. The goal is to let approval enter your life as information, warmth, and connection, not as the foundation of your worth. Validation feels best when it meets a self that has not abandoned itself. The question underneath the behavior may be very young. Am I safe? Am I wanted? Am I enough? Treating that question with respect is more useful than mocking the need. Validation seeking is especially powerful when identity feels unstable. A person changing careers, ending a relationship, gaining weight, losing status, or starting something new may reach outward more often because the old self-image no longer feels secure. A child who was only praised for achievement may become an adult who feels uneasy when resting. Rest may feel like becoming invisible. In that case, the person is not simply chasing compliments. They are trying to recover the safety that once came from being impressive. The repair is not to reject appreciation. Appreciation is healthy. The repair is to widen the base of worth so that approval is one source of warmth, not the entire foundation. Internal evidence, honest relationships, and personal values all have to share the weight. A useful daily practice is to notice the urge before acting on it. Before checking the message again, posting for approval, or explaining yourself for the third time, ask what feeling you are trying to settle. That pause turns validation seeking into self-knowledge. When validation becomes balanced, compliments can be enjoyed instead of consumed like emergency fuel. The person can receive warmth without needing it to prove they are allowed to exist.